Alrighty, guys, good afternoon to you all here. March 1st, 2025, the official start of meteorological spring. We're about to kick the severe weather season and tornado season here into high gear. As we go into this first week of March here, guys, we've got a potential tornado outbreak on tap for portions of the Central Plains, down into the Southern Plains, the Ohio Valley, the Mississippi Valley, down towards Dixie Alley and into the Southeast as we go through Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and possibly more significant severe weather on the horizon as we go into the first 2 to 3 weeks of March. So I'm going to break down this forecast to you guys as much as I can here. We're going to try and do a live stream tonight. If not, it'll be tomorrow. I've been super sick with my stomach all day today. I went and ran a 5K this morning, got super nauseous afterwards, and I've just been battling this all day today. So hopefully we can get a stream in. If we do, it'll be later on tonight, probably around 11 p.m. Central Time, a little bit later, because we're going to walk through some overnight model runs. So the biggest thing that I ask for you guys is always share this video out. We are about to potentially have one of the biggest storms of the year so far, with a potential widespread tornado outbreak on tap for portions of Tuesday and into Wednesday, and possibly even starting as early as Monday night from Oklahoma down into Texas over. So we're going to walk you guys through this forecast here. I do want you guys to see what's on your screen right now. And we've got, this is our satellite imagery over the United States right now. And you can see two different things. You've got a very well-seen jet stream here that's ongoing from basically the North Dakota area all the way down here through portions of the Midwest, the Central Plains here, and into portions of the Ohio Valley Northeast. This is associated with a clipper system that brought some snow showers across the higher terrain northeast this afternoon and this morning. Some decent accumulations of about 3 to 5 inches, maybe some 5 to 8 inches. Snowfall totals were around those areas there. But you can see there will be cold air in place with this jet stream through the next 48 hours or so before we kind of warm back up again next week. And the second thing that I want you guys to see is the spinning mechanism that's ongoing over here along the four corners. This is actually our clipper system that's going to bring a shot for an isolated tornado risk tomorrow for northeast Texas and southwestern Oklahoma. Yes, we have a tornado risk starting tomorrow in portions of the central and southern plains. It's going to be a very low-end risk zone. It's a very sneaky risk zone. It's a cold core setup that we're going to talk about here in just a second. And then we're going to have a severe weather threat potentially on Monday and Monday night get going that leads into our big outbreak that we could see on Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'll kind of walk you guys through what we're going to see here. And then as always, if you guys will comment at the end of this video and like the video and share it out, I really will appreciate that very much. Now, as I did mention, guys, we do have the threat for severe weather starting tomorrow for your Sunday, March 2nd, 2025. And you can see we do have a general thunderstorm risk out here for the Central Plains, a general thunderstorm risk as well for our major event that's going to be moving in on Tuesday across California and Nevada here into portions of the Four Corners here, that general thunderstorm risk. But I want you guys to pay attention to the small little marginal risk for tomorrow. This is what we call a sneaky conditional severe weather setup with a shortwave trough that's moving in for this area. There will be a shot for a very, very small window tomorrow afternoon. The timing on that's still a little bit to be determined. It looks to be between like 1 o'clock-ish and 6 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. The threat for an isolated low-top supercell that could produce a isolated tornado here in the northeast portion of the Texas Panhandle, as well as the southwestern portions of Oklahoma here, as well as a damaging wind threat at 5% and a hail threat at 5%. So we do have all three modes of low-end severe weather possible. If this does uptrend and we need to go live, we will go live for this tomorrow, more than likely, just to cover this. That way you guys are safe and ready to go. So that will be for tomorrow's event. And we'll get to the timing on that here in just a second. I do want to also go to our day 3 outlook. This actually got updated this afternoon as we have a big marginal risk that extends from portions of southern Texas here into Oklahoma, including the Oklahoma City metro area, into portions of Fort Worth and Dallas, Texas tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but into Monday, and then Arlington, Texas, and then portions of Wichita, Kansas, getting into southwestern Missouri there around the Joplin area, and into northwestern extreme Arkansas there. So we're going to be watching for the threat. This is where our main event kind of gets going here. So we're going to have an overnight risk on Monday with an idea of a low-end tornado risk, a potential damaging wind risk. We're going to have basically a line of storms that develops from our boundary down to Texas, giving us the QLCS, quasi-linear convective scale system threat for isolated tornadoes overnight. So I am planning on going live for this event on Monday night, starting around midnight. So that's kind of when we're going to see this event, and then it's going to go all the way through Tuesday and into Wednesday before it enters or exits the East Coast. So this also could even get ramped up to a slight risk potentially if the consistency in CAPE values, that instability that we need, does go in fact up. Now, the big event that we're going to be watching for is going to be on that day 4 forecast, and we've been talking about this for a couple days now. We have a slight risk of severe weather in southern Illinois, portions of Missouri, western Kentucky, Tennessee, pretty much all of Alabama here, all of portions of Mississippi, Louisiana, and East Texas. Now, this does start as soon as 6 a.m. on Tuesday morning. That's going to include eastern Oklahoma, Missouri here. East Texas will have that ongoing severe weather threat from Monday night that goes into early Tuesday morning, and then we get things going early Tuesday morning here. And that really, what I really want you guys to pay pay attention to, as well as that enhanced risk, that 30% risk zone there for Arkansas, northern Louisiana, Mississippi, and western Tennessee here. Now, that I do expect, as of right now, the way we are trending with our severe weather forecast, that to expand a little bit more potentially, and then also add maybe even a moderate risk zone in there, that level 4 out of 5, for more significant, robust potential for widespread tornado, long-track tornadoes, as well as a quasi-linear conductive scale system for QLCS tornadoes that could be EF2+. We are expecting, especially in that enhanced risk, for widespread potential damaging winds into numerous there, as well as the threat for EF2+ tornadoes. So strong, violent tornadoes is going to be a big possibility, and I really want to watch southern Louisiana as well. We've had a lot of these soundings today showing PDS potential, that particularly dangerous situation for tornadoes, large, violent tornadoes, even down towards the I-10 corridor from Lake Charles to New Orleans, and we have Mardi Gras going on this week, guys. So big time severe weather event moving into a populated area with a big gathering of people. Not an ideal setup, and if you're in these areas, I would suggest really not being out on Tuesday. This could be a very, very significant high ceiling event for Tuesday, guys, as we expect, like I said, that multiple potential severe weather outbreak here, as potentially even more of a widespread numerous tornado outbreak for most states that could be under the risk here for that severe weather. Now, this does go into day 5. We do have more than likely a marginal risk that'll be issued kind of in between these risk zones. So that's why you're seeing that gaping hole between portions of eastern Tennessee, the Carolinas, and down into Georgia. I expect there to be a shaded region there by the time we get to this event. We've also got a slight risk here that now extends on day 5. This is going to be for Wednesday, basically from Maryland down into eastern Virginia, eastern and central North Carolina, eastern South Carolina, and Georgia, and there will be a marginal risk that does extend out. We'll go more into detail in this here in just a quick second. All right, now let's go into detail on what we're going to be seeing for tomorrow for your Sunday forecast. I want to pay attention to our dew points here real quick, because we're going to see these dew points blossom through tomorrow morning here. We're going to have a really decent pool area here. This is what we call just a gathering of abundant moisture in the atmosphere here. These are our dew points. As we can see, some low to mid 50s here across portions of western Oklahoma and the northeast Texas panhandle. There's also going to be some forcing along this little dry line setup that we're going to see. This is the corridor that we're watching for that potential isolated tornado risk, damaging wind, and hail threat tomorrow. I don't think this is going to be anything too significant, but we do need to be mindful if you're in these areas tomorrow, if you are traveling, if you're out and about for your Sunday, of a low top isolated tornado chance, damaging wind, and hail threat. Now, this will be between right around peak heating, so we're talking between 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'd say 1 and 7 p.m. is kind of the magic hour here with this system, maybe even a little bit shorter window than that, and then this is basically going to fall apart as the sun sets, and then we start to see our dew points increase as we get ready for Mondays, and you can even see the low pressure system that's going to be coming in on Monday with our trough, giving us that threat for significant severe weather as we go into Monday night, into Tuesday night, and into Wednesday, and this system will cross across the pretty much entire eastern half of the United States. One more thing that I do want to show you guys is going to be just the potential, what our radar is going to look like for this event here. You can see as we get going into Monday afternoon, or Sunday afternoon, I should say, that low top tornado potential here, very, very low end, but just enough instability and low level shear to get an isolated threat going here. And we'll, like I said, if we need to go live for this tomorrow, we will in fact go live for this. Now, we're going to talk about Monday. Monday is going to be a pretty interesting threat as well going into the overnight hours. I'm not expecting any severe weather to happen for majority of the day of Monday until we get after sunset. So we're talking anytime after 7, 8 p.m. as we go towards the evening and dinner time hours there, and even late night. We start to see our dew points climb here, and this is where we're going to watch what's going to be eventually a bomb cyclone. Yes, guys, we could set a record for our low pressure system as far as the millibar ratings go, as far as our pressure reading goes. By the time this system is over with, the highest pressure, the lowest pressure rating we've seen out of low pressure for the month of March was actually 980 millibars. If we go below that, which this is actually forecasted to be around 977, maybe even around a little bit lower than that, we could break the all-time pressure rating for a system. So this is going to actually bring snow up into northern Missouri, Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota. We could actually get some blizzard warnings on the northern side of this because we're going to have such steep pressure gradients allowing for winds to blossom, and we're going to have that snowfall aspect as well with the blinding drifting conditions. So we're going to have to watch that on the northern mode, and I'll actually get to that more in our complicated forecast for tomorrow's video. But you can see as we go into Tuesday evening here, you start to see those dew points draw. You want to see that 60-degree dew point line really more north in order to get more significant out of this as far as the overall tornado risk and damaging wind threat goes. But you can see those dew points climbing, especially as we get closer to 6 o'clock in the morning. And I think once 5, 6 a.m. gets here on Tuesday morning, we are going to be in the severe weather outbreak, the first biggest severe weather outbreak that we've seen in quite some time in this area as we go into the sunrise portions of Tuesday. So if you're out and you're about driving on Tuesday morning, be very, very mindful that severe weather will be ongoing going. This will continue to intensify as it gets into Arkansas, into Louisiana, into the afternoon hours. And then I really expect our tornado threat to ramp up between 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesday, where we could see our violent tornado potential. You see these dew points in the 60s, upper 60s, maybe even some 70s getting in here into the Gulf. And then we see a little bit of a cutoff on our dew points here. I think this is still a little bit underdone with our moisture and our instability that we'll be seeing. I think as we get closer to this event, our global models don't do the best with instability, but our short range do. So by the time tomorrow gets here, and I'm making this video tomorrow afternoon, we should be seeing the instability values go up just a little bit more as we get closer to this event. That's typically what you see with that. So don't be too concerned about the dew points up there. We will more than likely have just enough moisture to get severe weather going. And then as we go into the evening hours here, closer to dinner time on Tuesday, this is when I think the highest threat for damaging winds and tornadoes is going to be at is Louisiana, Mississippi, and southeast Arkansas here. I even expect a moderate risk to more than likely be issued if trends continue to extend. I just want to pull a sounding here and show you guys what we're looking at. If you know how to read soundings, or if you don't know how to read soundings or photographs, you have a very, very well saturated column here. You've got a 70-degree temperature over 68 dew point. Very, very well sufficient for severe weather and tornadoes. You've got a tornado type hazard. You've got your photograph leaning very, very well here to the right, giving us that wind speed, that low level jet. That low level jet will be cranking. We could have a low level jet at maximum event on Tuesday of 80 plus knots, guys. That's category 1 hurricane force winds at the lower levels. So it's not going to take a lot of instability to get our tornado potential going with this event. So this just gives you an idea of what the photograph could look like through Louisiana here. And I'll take another sounding here out of southwestern Louisiana for, there we go, PDS sounding here. This is going to be an extremely volatile environment in southern Louisiana on Tuesday afternoon. So my Mississippi, my Louisiana, my southeast Arkansas people, especially in that enhanced risk zone, I need you guys to be very, very well of the conditions that are going to be favorable for long track violent potential tornadoes for any discrete supercells that develop. And even if we don't get any prefrontal convection, we could have that threat quasi-linear along our line that does develop. So a very, very volatile atmospheric setup on tap for Tuesday across the deep south and into the Dixie Alley corridor there. We don't have our models quite yet into Wednesday morning, so this will continue to work its way into Mississippi and Alabama, as I showed you on that risk zone, giving us that overall threat for severe weather. Now, the other thing I want to show you guys is our jet stream and why this is such a big deal. You can see our little shortwave trough here that's going to be moving in tomorrow, giving us that isolated threat for severe weather, and then that falls apart. And then look at our trough, guys. This could be a historic low pressure system as far as the pressure reading goes. Very, very well bounded, rounded jet streak here with about 120 plus knots of mid-level jet stream winds. You can see our diffluence and our divergence bands along Arkansas and Missouri, giving us a cold core tornado setup for southeast Arkansas, maybe western Kentucky, southern Illinois, into Tennessee here. I think the Memphis area as well is really going to have to watch getting into Nashville, portions of Rolling Fork as well, Mississippi. We've got a lot of big cities under the threat for a significant event here as we go into the Tuesday and Tuesday evening hours here, and even into Wednesday across the rest of the deep south and east coast. You see that trough dig in and intensify more. It does go negatively tilted, giving us that better threat for sheer damaging winds. I think going into Wednesday's risk zone along the east coast, we see more of a damaging wind threat with a isolated tornado risk, QLCS tornado risk. We'll probably have a 5% tornado risk in place, and this extends from Maryland down to the Georgia-Florida line there as we get into Sunday. And then this system pushes off, and then look at this, guys. Gonna have to watch yet for another severe weather potential as we go into Friday and Saturday here along the same exact areas, maybe even as far as the portions of the central Ohio Valley. But we'll get more into this as we get into next week. I don't want to pay too much attention on this and beyond because we've got that significant severe weather threat that's on table for the next couple of days here. And one more thing I will show you guys is going to be just our precip and what we're seeing. And this is an idea of what the radar could look like. The European model handling this very, very well. And you seeing our low pressure system dropping down to 981 and eventually 979 and 978. And you guys can see the snowfall. We'll probably have some pretty heavy snow, and we'll probably have some blizzard conditions up and around that northern side of the low, even some snow and freezing rain and sleet mixing in on the back side of this. So you might get severe weather in southern Missouri for the morning and afternoon, and then snow and freezing rain on the back side as we will have cold temperatures plunging in behind this. That's why it makes this upper level trough so much more significant. You continue to see the isolated severe weather threat moving east here, and then as we get into Wednesday afternoon with daytime heating, we will see that line potentially strengthen just a little bit more again before it's all said and done and over with. And then after that, we are pretty much done. So guys, I will have a more detailed forecast with you guys for tomorrow morning as we get our short range models into gear here. My biggest thing to you guys is have your action plans in place. We could be looking at a very significant outbreak on Tuesday. I don't say that very often. I don't say that. I don't want to fearmonger anybody. I don't want to hype anything up. That's not what I do. You guys know that, but this could be a very, very significant event on Monday night into Tuesday night into Wednesday. So a lot of people under the gun for that significant tornado risk as well as that damaging wind risk and hail risk. So I will keep you guys updated. I will potentially have a live stream tonight. If not, it will be tomorrow morning and tomorrow midday. Other than that, guys, have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. Get out there, enjoy that weather, and we'll see you guys in the next one.